Gents, I just want to pause the episode for a moment to let you know about the Strong Men of Value Academy. You will have heard me refer to it a number of times, and I want to bring more attention to it. So this isn't just a program, it's a life-changing environment and community of men who are focused on personal and professional growth. We're looking at areas of relationships, wealth, and health, things to help you thrive and maximize your life. Imagine having bi-monthly one-on-one coaching sessions with myself, weekly group coaching calls, and an incredible brotherhood of high achievers by your side. Now we're diving into resilience, leadership, and holistic growth to not just succeed in your career, but to thrive in your health and your relationships. Your journey to greatness, it starts here. So join the movement and you can apply for the Strong Men of Value Academy. You can head to themanthatcanproject.com to find out more.
You're listening to The Man That Can Project with Lachlan Stuart, a global movement created to empower men and open up what's really going through their minds by having real and raw conversations about life's unique challenges and our individual ways of processing it all. Welcome to The Man That Can Project.
Good day, gents. Hope everyone's having a ripper Tuesday. Great start to the week. It has been hectic, but also super enjoyable, and I'm really stoked because we've got some good weather back here in Brisbane. But I just wanted to dive in. So I just got off a call with a client, and the topic, which you guys may have seen in the heading, my relationship's stale, sex isn't what it was, and we just don't have fun anymore. I think, this was the topic of conversation when I was chatting with this potential client, and it got me thinking. I really wanted to share a lot of this with you guys because obviously, one of the biggest things going on in the world right now, divorce rates are at an all-time high, and suicide, or a high number of suicides, male suicides, is off the back of relationship breakdown. So I think the more we can understand relationships and the emotions that we go through and experience during relationships, the better chance we have of allowing relationships to continue thriving, the better chance we have of preventing suicides as a result of a relationship breakdown. So I think it's important, and if you have perspectives or ways of thinking around this topic to share, please comment them below, or if you're watching this as a replay, definitely drop your 2 cents in, because I think this is a conversation that needs to be had, and I also know that my way of thinking isn't the only way of thinking, and how we all experience this and what goes through everyone's mind in a relationship is different. So I think the more perspective we can have, the better it will help everyone, because it's all relatable, right? Everyone can relate to that at some point or another. But where we're at, obviously, this gent was in a relationship for a number of years, and I could relate. And you get to a point sometimes where you question whether the relationship is what it should be, or what you had an idea of a perfect relationship should be, because we see all these Hollywood films, and they're always dreamy fucking relationships, aren't they? They look like they're the most amazing in love couples ever, and we sit there going, how come my relationship doesn't do that? Maybe this isn't the right relationship for me. Maybe the grass is greener. Those thoughts come to mind, and obviously what we focus on, we then start to notice things to support that, right? So if you're constantly looking for reasons why your relationship isn't as good as the relationships you see on TV, what do you think you're going to find? You're going to find a lot of reasons to validate why your relationship probably isn't as good as the ones on TV. And it's funny enough that if you were to flip it on the other side, which is where most of our heads are at when we're starting a relationship, we are looking for all the reasons why our relationship is amazing, why it's exciting and the fireworks, and why this person is the best fit for us. That's what we're constantly looking for. And they talk about the honeymoon, that honeymoon period, and when you're going through that, that's what your focus is. So, gents, and whether you're experienced this, you may have experienced in the past, or you may not have at all. Awesome, it doesn't matter where you're at. One of the most important things to understand in a relationship is this: the longer you're in a relationship, the more you're probably going to change around that individual, right? I know full well I've been with my partner for nearly 7 years, and I'm not the same person I was 7 years ago. Completely different, I would say. My way of thinking, communicating, and understanding is completely different. And I also know full well that she's not the same person she was 7 years ago, which means if we're both changing, the real question to ask yourself is, do I know this new version? Because unfortunately, we build beliefs around how they should think, act, and behave based off that honeymoon period, based off our, first meetings with them. And we don't really allow much room for behavioural flexibility or for change in who they are as an individual. And because we don't do that, we don't treat them in a way to get to know the new ways of thinking, right? We don't ever go, okay, well, if she's a different person over the last 7 years, maybe I need to make sure that I still really do know her and not just have an idea of what I think or who I think she is. It's really important to make sure you're making time to, one, allow time for them to get to know you and continue to know you and your ways of thinking, but also spend the time on the other part. And then obviously we move into the sexist style, right? I've heard that a million times from blokes, and it's funny, and I would highly encourage, and I've been highly encouraging all of you gents anyway, to read the 5 love languages. And here's a reason for that. They talk about in this book, we have a love fuel tank, right? And obviously the goal for all of us is we want that fuel tank full, just like when you're driving a car, you want the fuel tank full. And how we feel that, obviously there's diesel, there's octane, high octane, 91, all those different fuels to fuel a car, which means our love fuel tank can have various different fuels to make that full for us. And the crazy part is, this will blow your mind, is because we're different people, chances are you're going to have a different fuel tank. Blew my fucking mind as well, really did. And now that you're aware of that, the goal is to go, okay, well, what specifically fuels your partner up? And what specifically fuels yourself up or fuels me up? Because once you understand that, you can start providing those types of fuel for your partner. I know for me, it's words of affirmation and physical touch. I think for a lot of blokes, they love a bit of physical touch. But then I know my partner, hers is gifts and quality time. And don't get me wrong, I like all of those things as well, but obviously there's priorities. And so now that I'm aware of that, I'm able to make sure that she is having her, I guess, fuel tank filled, and she's aware of mine. She's making sure that mine's full, so that we have that bond in the relationship, because it's really easy, as I said, for relationships to go stale. And I could imagine not many of you guys want that. And it goes that one step further to really understanding what it then ripples into other aspects of your life. Like, are you still making sure you're making the effort to have the adventures, to do the surprise things that you used to do when you were first getting together, right? Or is that all you've just fallen into everyday life habit, which is normal. We fall into that, and I'm guilty of that. But the goal is to hold yourself to a high standard, and to understand that relationships are a lifelong work, right? And as you continue to grow and evolve, and different priorities pop in and out of your life, you still really need to have some intention behind the time that you spend with your partner. And if you're not choosing to do that, you can only imagine what happens, right? If you neglect your health, what generally happens with your health becomes poor, right? And the same goes if you neglect your relationship, becomes poor. So if you want your relationship to thrive, if you want to get your relationship to a point where you don't become one of those statistics of a divorce or another relationship breakdown, make sure you can put in the constant work, even when it feels hard, even when you don't feel like doing it. Because after having this chat with this potential client, and it was a light bulb moment for him. And it was a light bulb moment for me at one point as well. But the goal for all of us is to be educated and to continue being intentional with all these areas of our life, because when there's intention, there's a greater outcome. And all of you gents are a part of this page because you want to get greater results in your life for all different areas. And that's completely cool. But if we keep putting our head in the sand, if we aren't having the tough conversations, and if we aren't giving ourselves time to think, which is why I love meditation, you might just go for a walk, it's really hard to come up with the results or the answers that we're looking for to create the change. So dudes, trust me, if you want to get your relationship back, and this is for those, I guess, who have been in a long-term relationship, back to a point where it feels like it's thriving and you feel like you're in honeymoon phase, go back to doing the things you were doing when you originally got together. Make time to surprise them, really invest in getting to understand and know them, your partner. Because guarantee you, like I said, the longer you're with them, the less you probably know them. The more you think you know them, but the less you fucking know them. Have a great day, gents. Appreciate you guys being a part of this group. And if you got value, make sure you add some of your mates to the group and tag them in this post. Or ultimately, if you've got some buddies in this group already, tag them in this as well. Have a great Tuesday. Thank you for listening to the Man That Can Project podcast. My name is Lachlan Stuart, and I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful. If you did, please take a moment to rate and review the Man That Can Project on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with our newest episodes. We'll see you again next time.